Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm bringing you the slop, the whole slop, and nothing but the slop. Yeah, there goes your slop right there. I can't stop burping, boys. Whenever I drink a can of soda, it's just downhill from here. But I gotta ask you guys a question. Are you tired of having your intelligence insulted? Are you tired of people actively gaslighting you, saying, if you don't like it, change the channel? But then when that argument is presented in regards to another show, therefore, you everything is peachy keen? I want to show you this video real quick, alright? I want to show you this video that I feel like every wrestling fan at the very least should look at and say to themselves, yeah, that's pretty fucking bad. Now, granted, there are going to be some people out there that are going to say things such as, well, Devontae, were you born yesterday? Did you not know this happens in professional wrestling all the time? Not like this, though. This is ridiculous. And if so, we should probably go out of our way to lambast that as well. But this is from Survivor Series 2025, a couple of days ago. This is some fan cam footage of Io Sky doing her stupid fucking swanton with the trash can on her head. Check this out real quick. Just look at it from this angle instead of looking at it from the televised angle. Don't you just watch professional wrestling sometimes and just think to yourself, holy shit, this is such a fucking parody. This is not professional wrestling. This is just a parody of what people believe professional wrestling to be. Now, maybe you weren't paying attention, so maybe you have to rewind to watch the video again. But look at the bottom of your screen. Don't pay attention to Io Sky, right? Look at the bottom of your screen. Look at all the women gathered right there, waiting, menacingly waiting for Io Sky to jump off a cage with a trash can on her head. No, don't jump, wait, we can go anywhere on the side of the cage, don't jump, she's still gonna jump. Like, what are you doing? What do you do? I think we as professional wrestling fans can all come together and we can chastise that bullshit right there. It doesn't matter what wrestling company it happens to be in. It could be in AEW, it could be in TNA, it could be in NXT. It does not matter. When bullshit like that is happening, it has to be called out. And the problem is that that's not the first time that has happened. In fact, that has become the norm in professional wrestling. Now, granted, that right there, I believe that's the worst offender, but it happens like that all the time. Wrestlers standing there waiting for a guy to do a choreographed move that looks unbelievably fucking stupid, and you wonder and you ask yourself when watching this nonsense, am I gay? No, you probably don't ask that. Maybe you do. I don't know. But like, I know I do ask myself sometimes whenever I see stuff like that, like, man, I'm a 33-year-old man and I'm still watching this bullshit. And this is the kind of shit that they're giving to me. I am questioning whether or not I need to continue watching this bullshit. And this is what they give me. Why? Why would you actively support garbage like this? And I'm not saying WWE as a whole is garbage. Kinda am. I kinda think they are. But this particular spot, stuff like this, do you know that's AEW as a whole? That spot in particular, that's AEW's entire company. Them waiting around, choreographed nonsense to give you exploitive bullshit like this. By exploitative, I mean like the gaslighting of essentially saying, this is how the average person acts and this is how we're going to simulate it for you. No, that's not how the average person reacts or acts or whatever the case may be. Devontae, do you watch movies? Yeah, but I go into movies knowing that it's fake and it's nonsense and it's garbage, and I just want to be entertained by the nonsensical slop. I go into professional wrestling with the same kind of mindset, but it's a different approach because it's simulation. Like, movies are simulated, but it's more so like simulated in the sense that you see a title of a movie, you go into the movie, you see the character, you see the box office draw, and that's the appeal, right? You know Tom Hanks ain't Forrest Gump. You get lost for a little bit, but you know Tom Hanks is still Tom Hanks in the end of the day, right? I go into professional wrestling and I see Stone Cold Steve Austin and I don't think of Steve Williams. Does that make any sense? It probably does make sense, but you're going to tell me why it doesn't make sense, because you have to have an argument in order to disagree with me on the point and then pretend as if that entire point that you disagree with means that my entire argument now is invalid. I get it. I've been on the internet for over 25 years. I know how this works. It's a fallacy. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this is still stupid. And why do you focus on this kind of shit? Right? Look at it like this. You have a guy like Will Ospreay. Will Asprey is what I like to call him, right? Who has so much ability to do whatever he wants to do. He could take that same ability where he uses to jump around and flip around and do all the twirly twirl shits, and he could sell just like that. And I promise you, the effect of the selling, if he actually puts that acrobatic criteria or whatever you want to call it into practice, and that way would get more out of him just doing his flippy dippy doody doo. See, for an example, Rikishi, right? You know how crazy it is to see Rikishi take a clothesline and him do like a fucking standing whisper in the wind, essentially? Right, seeing him do a standing corkscrew when he's 400 fucking pounds, that's fucking amazing to see. Let me ask you a question. What looks more cooler? A guy doing a shooting star press, or a guy getting clotheslined by a bigger guy and that resulting in him being inside outed and taking a shooting star press off of a clothesline? Obviously, this shit has to make sense, and in a sense, it doesn't have to make sense. I'll put it to you like this. It doesn't have to make sense in the sense that obviously clotheslining someone and it's not going to inside out them in that way, right? You probably decapitate them in the process. But it does make sense because you can suspend your disbelief if you have someone like Brock Lesnar doing that to an Evan Bourne. Because it doesn't make sense because that's not how physics work. But it does make sense because look at Evan Bourne and look at Brock Lesnar. I'm not asking for professional wrestling to completely have to, correlate with realism. I'm not saying that at all. That'll just take all the fun away from professional wrestling. But what I'm saying is don't actively insult my intelligence. Make it make sense in the sense that I can follow the narrative and get lost in what the fuck you're showing me. I see let's get back to Will Ospreay for a minute, because actually that's a nice segue to it. Look at not just the moveset of a Will Ospreay and what he puts into, and as far as contributing to his athletics, right? Ignore all that for a second, right? Look at his movements. Look at what he does when he gets in the ring, and notice the patterns, right? I talked about this before. It's the super kicks. It's the cutters. It's the Canadian destroyers. It's the flippy dippy bullshit kung fu stuff, right? I say this because notice how I can go up and down Will Ospreay's entire moveset. His entire moveset, right? I don't have to tell you which move it is, but you know, out of those four things I just talked about, it's going to be a variation stemming off of that. Make it make sense to me, right? How people constantly complain about John Cena, for an example, in his 5 moves of doom, right? They complain about Hulk Hogan and his, hulking up and punching in the face and big boot and leg drop. Make it make sense how those moves are so horrible and egregious, but Will Ospreay can do the fucking flips in any kind of variation, but essentially it's the same thing, right? A cutter off the turnbuckle and a cutter standing up is still a cutter in the end of the day. a sweet chin music and a super kick, or a super kick to a guy sitting down, or a super kick party, or whatever you want to call it, or a thrust kick, it's all a kick to the face, right? A flip going forward, or a flip going backwards, or a flip over the ropes, or a flip sitting down, or a flip in your asshole, it's all still flips in the end of the day. What I'm getting at is, why the fuck is all their moves considered terrible? Mind you, they actually relate to the audience and they actually engage with the audience, but this guy can flip and do the same exact shit, but he tricks you by essentially going forward and backwards or side to side, even though he's doing the exact same type of flip, and therefore it's okay. I can understand the aesthetics of looking at the flip and saying to yourself, well, you know, I like how that flip looks. It looks cool. And after about a month or two, it's awesome. It's dope-a-rooney, right? But then, like, okay, after you see so many other people do it, and it's been over 15 years, at what point do I at least have to point out whenever you say something about WWE, for an example, being terrible and shit like that because of their moves being boring and stuff like that? Okay, what about this guy? He's doing the same exact thing in AEW, right? No different. Everybody's doing the exact same kind of flips. The idea is that you're tired of seeing it, right? No, is that not, I don't know, the definition of boring? You're just tired of seeing the same thing over and over again? How is that not seeing the same thing over and over again? John Cena doing 5 moves and 5 guys doing the same moves are still the same moves being done over and over and over and over again. Guy over there standing, waiting to be caught and all that shit. It's still the same thing. It's all choreographed nonsense that's really, really, really hurting professional wrestling right now. No matter how you want to slice it and dice it and pretend as if this is good and this is bad and this is fine and this is all. No, it's all bad in the end of the day, and it doesn't contribute anything at all to professional wrestling besides constantly having people fixate more and more on that. Because here's the thing, newer people come in, they see this, they get infatuated with it, and then eventually they leave because they get bored with it eventually. And then newer people come in while those old people are starting to leave out, and the cycle continues over and over and over and over and over again. There's nothing to actually keep you grounded to want to keep watching the program, right? Right? It's no different than, for an example, I don't know, it's like playing a video game, right? It's like playing a Madden game, and you're playing the same Madden game over and over and over and over. Can you imagine playing the Madden game and the mechanics are still the same from, like, I don't know, 1998? Like, even with different game modes, it's still the same mechanic. Oh, wait. Maybe not a good example, but you get what I'm saying though, right? It gets boring eventually. Add something new, add a new layer. But if you're going to add something new, make sure it makes sense. Test it with somebody, do it at a house show, whatever the case may be. But don't just consistently focus on the choreographed nonsense, because the choreographed nonsense, eventually it gets out of hand because that's all you know how to do. And therefore, you're going to up the ante to the point where you're going to get bullshit like we've seen with Io Sky. As a matter of fact, even the bullshit evolves into even more bullshit. Look at the Io Sky spot right there. How did it initially start with the trash can shit, right? It started with Io Sky having to do a crossbody with a trash can over her head off the top of a fucking cage. Was that already not bad enough for you? Was that not already dog shit enough for you? No, of course now you have to add a front flip with it. Why? Because people got tired of seeing the fucking crossbody with the trash can spot, which was already considered to be glorious at the beginning, right? Now you have to add this other element, and it's making everybody look fucking goofy. You have this chick with a trash can on her head hitting a front flip. Now, I will say it takes a lot of balls, and I will say it takes a lot of courage, which means balls, so that's kind of redundant, but you get what I mean, right? It takes a lot for a superstar to pull off something like that. And I'm not knocking the credibility of the performer. What I'm saying is, what you can do in variations without having to consistently hound on one aspect of professional wrestling, because sooner or later people are going to get sick and tired of that shit. If not sooner, it's now happening right now. Again, say it as much as you want as a person who likes shit like this. Say as much as you want as an individual who's watching professional wrestling who doesn't have a problem with this. You know what I like to side with? You know what I like to coincide with my opinion? And it's always the metrics, the numbers. I say my opinion and you can say, hey, Devontae, it's invalid because that's only one person's perspective. True that. But what if I tell you that there's a falling number magically coinciding with all the problems that I'm notating in professional wrestling currently right now? Would you believe me then? Would you at least say to yourself then, okay, I can still like what I like, but at the same time hope for them to use it in practical ways, therefore I can get what I like while at the same time still continuing professional wrestling to thrive? But that's another sad part, because like I said, there are going to be people who are going to go up and down the comment section. They're going to be like, Devontae, you pick and you pick and you pick and you pick and you hate professional wrestling. You know, one clown on the Survivor Series 2025 review, and you probably see me reply to his comment. He's actually pissed, and there was another comment who was actually pissed. Actually, I think these two Nimrods were going back and forth with each other about how big their dick was because they love professional wrestling. So, oh no, it wasn't. It was WWE, right? You and your tribalisms, I feel like I harp on this so many times, right? But it's always going to be a focal point for me because it blinds you to the actual hypocrisy that you're currently living at the moment, right? You sit here and you say to yourself that you hate AEW for this particular choreographed bullshit stuff, right? But then WWE does it and they do it in more egregious ways, and then it gets called out on top of the entire show, more in particular the entire show, and it's, why are you picking on WWE? You're reaching. It's like, you guys gotta stop this, man. Face facts. This is not what you actually believe professional wrestling to be. You believe professional wrestling to be some tribalistic grounds for you to play your stupid ass politics and team sports and, oh, my echo chamber is over here, because I don't know, it's the weirdest thing in the world. It's already fucking weird and stupid when they do it in politics, but it's even more egregious when I see it in professional wrestling. You see, I'm talking about the choreographed stuff and why it's harming professional wrestling, but the people who will go out of their way to attack it when one company does it, but then defend it when another company does it because it's all tribalism, it stems off of a community, right? It stems off the fact that you don't really have a personal grievance with the company throughout the actual annals of professional wrestling. You might even have one grievance, and you found a community that share this grievance, and now you want to be a part of that community because you want to fit in so badly, because apparently now the nerd walking up and down the hallway trying to be the cool kid in real life, he wants to do it online now. You want to fit in with a community so badly that you're willing to look the other way when it comes to the offenses that this one company is doing versus the other. This can go vice versa with AEW and WWE, or WWE to AEW. It doesn't matter. What I want to focus on, though, is what we're seeing right here. My stance stems off of what I watched in professional wrestling growing up and what I want you guys to experience right along with me. That's where all my grievances stem from. Look, and it's not like we didn't have choreographed stuff back in the day as well, right? And guess what? It was trash too. It was garbage. It was nonsense as well as time started 2 for 2 going on, right? And guess what? They added another element into that. It's called tables, ladders, and chairs, right? It's called doing stunts like Mick Foley getting thrown off the Hell in a Cell through an announcement table. Completely agree. And guess what? It was new at the time. It was fresh. Along with some of the stuff that ECW was doing that people did not watch like that. All of it was new and all of it was fresh. But here's the thing. Eventually, it ran its course. Have you seen professional wrestling today? It also ran its course, and people can say as much as they want, because I know this is also going to be an argument. Devontae, it is 2025. Everything's been done in wrestling. You should just accept professional wrestling for what it is right now. Don't give me that nonsense. I don't want to hear that. You don't think the same thing that you're saying right now wasn't said back in the 90s as well? Get creative. How many times have you seen people throw out ideas here and there? Take something, do something. Don't give me that nonsense. Don't give me that nonsense. Maybe I don't know, like the creative well for professional wrestling in regards to the in-ring stuff may have ran its course because you over rely on it so much, but I can guarantee you there are 1,000 upon 1,000 things you can utilize your moveset, just no different as to how you can utilize anything creatively when telling a story, right? You have a tool, you can use the tool however you want to use the tool as far as hammering whatever you want to hammer. Just because a hammer is supposed to be for a nail and there's so many nails doesn't mean you can't use a hammer for any other practical reason. I'll just wait for the FBI to knock on my door any minute now. But no, seriously though, stop it with this. Stop it with the EOS guys and the trash cans and the front flips off the cages and you get nothing out of it. Stop it with the constant flips and the kicks and all this other kind of shit when you can utilize that in any other way in order to get over your character or get over whatever story you're trying to put across. Stop it with constantly defending your favorite wrestling company but then going after everyone else who does a thing that you're offended over when it comes to professional wrestling because you don't really believe that shit. You only want to say it because the guy who happens to be in your community ended up saying it. Just believe it or don't believe it. And more importantly, I will say this, the complete antithesis of this video, but I will say this as well. If you like what you like, continue watching what you like. No one here is holding you back. This is one man's opinion that maybe everybody else may agree with. Maybe everybody else may see my point and they may say to themselves, yeah, I completely agree. But the talking points comes from one man. One man only, and that's this guy talking to you right now. If you like what you see, if you like the flippy dippy dudes, if you like the Will Ospreys and the Ricochets and the Kenny Omegas and all that stuff, go watch it. Go have fun. Hey, don't let anyone rain on your parade. This is one man venting. It feels like no one can ever get that through their thick little skulls as well. It feels like everything has to be like this point of contention. And if you have any point of contention, it's never like, oh, I disagree, I'm gonna go continue watching it. It's you're a big piece of shit for not agreeing with me. It's so fucking passe and so boring as well. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below as how you felt about the video. Devontae, you're an idiot, blah blah blah. Devontae, I don't know, you suck, this, that, I get it. Hear it all the time. Ain't gonna hurt me. Probably will. I might cry. I don't know. It depends. I'm gonna go in my car and we'll see. A deuces and a peace.